Alrighty, rather quick video today. The dev server just came out earlier, so I'm hopping on, looking at all the new stuff. I will hopefully have a second video out either today or tomorrow on the J8B, which is what I've been flying lately, and I've been having a lot of fun. But for those of you who haven't already got access to the dev server, haven't seen anything else, I wanted to show you what's new and give quick thoughts on the changes. So just literally going from left to right. Starting with the United States, obviously, the greatest country, my favorite country. From what I've heard, there's been a couple minor changes for ground, like the M1A1 AIM has KEW at rank 2 instead of rank 3 or 4, whatever it was, which I'm super excited about. Obviously, I think there's nothing that we all love more than M1A1 players absolutely screwing the entire server over. So hopefully they will be a little bit better now because they won't be playing with a vehicle that has heat until the very end of it. This is the one new ground vehicle we have. It's the T1E1. If you haven't played it, the T1E1 and the M6 are these pretty decent heavy tanks. At 5.7, its armor is going to be a little weak, but I think that's going to be made up for by the 90mm gun. However, it may get better. From what I've seen in discourse, this 82mm front plate is supposed to be up armored to 127mm. So if that ends up getting put through, that would make it quite a good tank. Might have to go up to 6.0. Hopefully they don't make it go up to 6.0, and we get another nice addition to the American 5.7 line. Helis, there's nothing. There's never anything. Aviation, the United States has two new regular ones and one premium. The premium is the AV-8B-NA, or Night Attack variant. Super cool plane. Obviously a staple of DCS, so if you're a DCS player, you'll be familiar with this one. It's basically just a regular Harrier 2. It's going to play exactly the same as the AV-8B Plus for the most part. Only gets AIM-9Ls as opposed to AIM-9Ms, but still gets a pretty nice load. This is something I did also want to talk about. This is a new addition that is a quality of life thing that I really enjoy. When you look at the secondary weapons, you can view how they will look on the plane. For the most part, it's really just a visual thing. It's not going to like super change how you set up your loadouts and things, but I think it's cool, especially if you want to make thumbnails or anything. It's a cool visual addition to the game. For tech tree stuff, we have the F111F. This is the later variant of the Aardvark. Secondary weapons-wise, I gotta say it's a little disappointing for an 11.7 aircraft, having only 6 AIM-9Ls for attack and then less bomb load. It's definitely more of a ground attacker, and it has, I think, some better options for guided bombs, but ultimately, I don't think, especially being 11.7 for both ground and air, in air it's going to suffer a little, and for ground, I'm just not sure why you would pick this over a different 11.7 ground vehicle, right? You have access to the A10s, you've got access to the AV-8B Plus, you've got access to the F-15, the F-14, the F-16. There's not really a reason to bring that over anything else. However, flip side, complete opposite, the A10C is also in the game now, which is awesome. The internals of this thing look really, really cool, and option-wise, you get MAW, which is fantastic, but more importantly, you get AIM-9Ms to replace your AIM-9Ls. So if you've ever used the A-10 late, you're going to get that exact same feeling of your missiles just carrying the aircraft in air battles, because you get 4 of these bad boys, and you get the absolutely obscene load of 17 GBU-12 laser-guided bombs, or 84, not 48, 84 laser-guided rockets. They're not going to be fantastic. They're really only going to be for lighter vehicles. But personally, I think I'll be very much sticking to these GBU-12s when I use it in ground battles. And also probably occasionally using some of these AGM-65Ls and AGM-65Gs. These are quite cool weapon systems. Obviously, they're mainly a F-16 thing and a gripping thing for right now, but I'm excited to see them on this guy, even if it's only a couple of them. Blue Water Fleet, there is actually something. Please don't click away. I promise I'll be quick on this, but I do enjoy naval, as you can see from my rather developed American naval tech tree. The U.S. does get the new USS Tennessee. I'm assuming it'll play like the USS Mississippi, the event vehicle. So if you want a big, heavy armored battleship, you have access to that now in the normal tech tree. And it comes after USS Nevada, which is already a great vehicle to grind. We don't have anything coastal. And who cares? Even as a naval player, I don't care about coastal. Germany, Nothing new for Coastal. Who cares? For Blue Water, there is something new. It's yet another 6.3 battlecruiser. Phenomenal. Great. Not enough of those. For Air, I don't see anything. Oh, there is, that is right. There is this new premium FFA P16. From what I see, its loadout is a little similar to the Hunter F58 that is the squadron vehicle for Switzerland slash Germany, but flying a little differently, I'm assuming. I'm not overly interested in picking it up, especially as a premium, but to each their own. For Army for Germany, there is a pretty important new addition. It is the German Schützenpanzer Puma. This is the S1, I think is what it's going to be called when this name gets changed, but it's the standard version of the Puma. It's not got much more armor or anything, but, and they're not shown here yet, it has a spike missile launcher. So yeah, enjoy the most annoying IFV in the game, now being able to hit you with top attack IR guided seeking missiles. That I'm sure will be fantastic. The Russians get one new thing for the ground. I'm sure most of you have already seen it. It is the Shilka M4M2. It has more ammo than the other one and should have NVDs, but I don't know if those are going to get added or not. It's a Shilka. For AA at 7.3, it'll be pretty solid, even without the guidance system. It'll also probably be good for taking out light tanks and even MBTs that are stupid enough to show you their side. I'm sure it'll be pretty cool. For aviation, Russia does get a fun new addition with the Su-24M. This is kind of like their version of the Aardvark, is how you should really see it. It's a tactical bomber. It's fast. It's going to get MAW. Secondary weapon loadout, it gets R60Ms, and it's going to get decent guided bombs. It's also going to get decent other guided bombs, and access to a bunch of the very large rockets, if you want to play it like that. So tons of guided, unguided weaponry. You can take a bunch of cannons if you'd like. It also has a faster firing regular gun than the Vulcan. So if you want to just play it as a buzzbird, go ahead. That's awesome. Glad that's happening. The Russians have a new boat, putting them now in second place for most warships at top tier. With the Ismail, it's a boat. It's a Russian boat. It's going to play like a Russian boat. Nothing else I really have to say about that. I think you guys, if you play naval, you get the idea, and if you don't play naval, you probably don't care too much about naval. Britain's getting nothing new naval-wise. In this dev server, I will say, from what I've heard, they might be getting a Queen Elizabeth, but I'm not sure. For aircraft, they are getting the F-111C for Australia. Shares a lot of similarities to the F, but is a little weaker, less AIM-9Ls, still the slightly reduced bomb load. It's an F-111. If you like the plane, I'm sure you'll be glad to have it for Britain. So, hallelujah. For Army, I don't believe... Oh, they are. They're getting the new Stormer variant. The Stormer with... It's basically the equipment of an LAVAD without the rocket pod and with worse mobility. It'll be okay. It'll be fine. It'll have a little more armor. It'll be a cool addition to Britain. If you play that tier Britain, I'm sure you'll be excited for it. Japan is getting a new squadron vehicle, the RCVP. Autocannon. I don't know what the fuck that thing is. I'm not even on there. I might have to get this just because of the commander optics on a pole. I didn't even look at this thing closely earlier. It's a cool vehicle. It's an autocannon. It'll play, I think, like a slightly better version of the Type 87. It's alright. The Type 87, this one, not that one. They call everything Type 87, apparently. Helicopters, we got nothing. Aircraft, we got nothing. I'm sorry, Japan bros, no F2A yet. When they add the F2A, they better goddamn make it super fun and awesome. Hopefully one of these days. I don't know when it'll come, but yeah, I know. I want the F2A, I'm sure, just as much, if not more than anybody else. I fucking love that thing. I love all F-16 variants. Please. They also get a new PT boat. It's got a little mortar on it by the looks of it. I'm assuming that's a mortar. Yes, it's a bomb mortar. It's fine. Are you really going to grind for the 2.0 coastal boat? I don't think so. And then we get to China. China is the star of this update. They're getting, I think, the most new stuff. but they're certainly up there. They're getting the Antelope air defense system. Yes, it is incredibly goofy. Yes, it looks like a Chaparral. That's because it's basically a Chaparral with even shorter range. But I think better IRCCM. So we will see how it plays in game. Obviously, I think a lot of people are going to get this just because Toyota meme truck. So enjoy that. They are also getting this, the Al Khalid 1. This is just an MBT 2000, to my knowledge. I'm pretty sure it is the exact same vehicle, just with a skin. If you want to grind China, I'm sure it's going to be a pretty strong vehicle. The MBT 2000 is already quite strong, but if this update in general or the Chinese tree is making you think, hey, maybe I should grind China, I would just do it with the Type 96 AP. They're in the exact same rank, and the AP is, I think, better at its BR. As someone who has both the Type 96A, the Type 96 AP, and the MBT 2000, the MBT 2000 is very, very, very fun to play, but I don't think that it's strong enough at its BR to really be a grinding vehicle, which the Type 96 AP absolutely is. So I'd recommend using this to grind, and then just getting the Tech Tree MB2 2000. If you prefer playing a top tier, or maybe you just want both of them, you're free to grab this. I'm sure it'll be good. And the Type 96 AP can play at top tier, so if you want to grab both of them, splurge your money. I got no judgment. But then we get into air. This is the big area for China. You're getting the squadron vehicle, the JF-17. This was built for Pakistan, and it has some similarities to the J7, just in fuselage design initially in the project, but it developed a lot. This thing was meant to be a kind of, not necessarily a counter, but a counterpart to the F-16s, but I don't believe Pakistan was allowed to purchase at the time, or they didn't find them adequate enough, or I don't know the exact reason, I couldn't tell you. What it gets is these SD-10s. These are renamed PL-12s. So they are quite solid ARH missiles, in fact, and it's getting these PL-5E2s. You'll also see these on the other Chinese aircraft in the game. Do not be alarmed by the fact that they look relatively worse than a lot of the other missiles at top tier. This is not final, or if it is final, then Gaijin is going to have a whole other thing on their hands. Because in real life, the PL-5E2's main advantage over the previous PL-5Es is that they have IRCCM, quite advanced dual-channel IRCCM, the same stuff used on the AAM-3 and a bunch of comparative missiles. In-game, I don't think it'll be modeled differently. I'm assuming it'll just be seeker shot off like the AAM-3s are, but that's fine. We just want them to be accurate so that these things can properly fight at top tier where they're placed. I think the go-to loadout for this thing is going to be the dual ARH launchers and then a PL-5E2 if you're doing air battles. If you are doing ground battles, obviously you're probably just going to take the PL-5E2 and then a bunch of laser-guided munitions, because of course you are. That's fun. Who doesn't like laser-guided bombs? The one disappointment I do have is on the other one, the J10, I believe it's called the Vigorous Dragon. It does not have the same number of laser-guided bombs as an option. I am hoping that that is incorrect and not finalized, because I'd be a little disappointed if a multi-role aircraft like this really couldn't do multi-role outside of bombing. But we'll just have to wait and see. Outside of that, this thing is much better. You get the PL-8s, which are always fun. You get the PL-5E2s, which again should get IRCCM when they're properly added. And you get access to 6 of these PL-12s on a very competitive airframe. I shouldn't even have to take this thing out for you guys to see. It is obviously quite mobile. It's quite fast. It's able to dogfight. And having all of that plus everything it also has, plus an HMS and an IRST system, this thing is going to be incredibly deadly. And is going to be a great new plane for top tier. My issue with it is that it's on the F-16 line and the Taiwanese line for China, which not only have I not grinded, but I think a lot of Chinese players haven't grinded, and is just, it's Taiwanese vehicles, and then we're just suddenly going with a PLAAF vehicle. It's a little disappointing. I was hoping it would go after the JH7, but what can you do? For Italy, you are getting a new plane. It's a Tornado IDS. It's going to be like every other Tornado IDS in the game, and it's being added so that you have to grind farther for the AV-8B+. For boats, you're getting nothing. For coastal, you're getting nothing. For helis, you're getting nothing. For army, you're getting Nothing? Am I missing? Nope. Phenomenal. For France, for France, under the Army section, you are getting the CV9035 NL. It's a CV9035. Basically the same as the others. I heard them in the dev stream say it's going to reinforce your 10.0 France, to which I would ask, what 10.0 France? There's literally no 10.0 vehicles for France, so enjoy that. Aircraft, you're getting nothing. Joy. Coastal, you're getting a new coastal tree that you have to buy into. Um, wouldn't really recommend it. I'd just wait. But if you're really looking forward to the coastal tree, the top tier is this 4.0. Gets a 40 mil gun. Gets a, is that a hedgehog launcher of some kind? Phenomenal. Um, yeah, Sweden gets actually nothing this update at all. Praise be. And in Israel, I don't think gets anything. Oh, they do actually get an army thing as well. Army, they get something that's at least semi-exciting. You get the Tehran 6, slightly better Tehran, so that's cool. Air Force, you get the F-16C. If you're just a pure Israeli main, you get the F-16C. So congratulations. But if you're somebody who has the other F-16C or any of the other top tier F-16s, it's going to play the exact same. It's just copy and paste. Um, I've also heard, just as one last point. Oh, also if you're on the dev server, you can do this. No clue why. Um, I've heard, and I'm not sure how truthful it is, that the Eastern Europe map has had all of the bridges removed from that waterway in the center, making it basically just a one-lane brawling map. Assuming that's true, which I do think it is from what I've seen, that is an awful change. Gaijin, please revert. What the hell are you doing? Other than that, that's it. It's not a super exciting update from what we see so far. I don't think that anything else that's going to be revealed is going to really suddenly make it something that everyone's really excited for. But it's okay, and it's adding some cool new vehicles like the J10 and the A10C, and I'm excited to play around with those. Like I said, I'm going to try and have another video out tonight, as well as this one, but it might come out tomorrow. Hope everybody's having a great day. Have the best one you can. Don't stumble and fall. Do school or whatever else is going on in your life. I wish you all the best. Have a good one.